So we just finished talking about intervals, but we're gonna keep talking about intervals. What I told you about before were seconds, thirds, fourths, and things like that. Those are all major intervals. There are minor intervals. So let's draw out C here. From C, your second would be your D, but that's a major second. You normally don't say major second because there's no real need. They'll just say second when they're talking about music. But if you want to play your minor second, instead of being D, it would instead be D flat or C sharp. Again, however you're looking at it. So when you're playing your majors and minors, okay. Let's draw this out again. So let's write out the intervals. So when you want to play a minor interval, you sort of just take the interval that you're going to end up playing. So let's say I want to play a minor sixth. I take the normal major sixth and I flatten it by a half step. So my normal major sixth when in the C, the key of C, would be A. But if I want to play my minor sixth, it'd be A flat. And actually, to make note, your fourth and your fifth, they're perfect intervals. You actually don't have a minor fourth or a minor fifth or a thing like that. When you want to flatten your fourth or your fifth, it's actually called a diminished fourth or a diminished fifth. And if you're gonna raise it a half step, you'd call it an augmented fourth or an augmented fifth. You'll see this later when we're talking about chords and diminished and augmented chords. But for right now, that's really the only thing you have to make note of. So again, like from the second, if I want to play my minor third, it would be an E flat or D sharp, however you're looking at it. From seventh, it would be what? B flat. So these would then be my minor sixth interval, my minor seventh interval, my minor third interval. So that's a way musicians sometimes talk about notes rather than naming them. They'll talk about the intervals. So if you're playing C, they'll be like, okay, play your fifth from C. They're talking about G. If you're from, they'll sometimes say play your sixth from C. They're talking about A. Or if they tell you play your minor sixth from C, they're talking about A flat. So that's just another way to talk about the notes. And it's kind of an easier way to look at it, but it always starts on where you're starting from. So you always have to know where you're starting from to talk about it that way. You can't just be like, play your fifth if you don't know where you're starting from, because that could be anything. So you always designate your starting point when talking about intervals. So you could play your fifth from D, which would be A.